Hey everyone, looks like we are live here. Welcome to another Splinterlands Town Hall. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah, it's still Eastern Daylight Time. Get those backwards. On October 17th of 2024, coming into the end of the year, Q4, typically a very exciting time in the cryptocurrency world. Obviously, there's all sorts of craziness going on with elections and whatnot. I cannot wait till that is all over. And I think just getting a lot of that uncertainty out of the market, whichever way the chips may fall, will be very beneficial for this entire industry. At Splinterlands, obviously, we have made some significant expense reductions earlier in the month that I expect will get us to the point where we should be roughly break even based on how things have gone over the past 12 months since I took over. And so that my hope is that that will finally get us to a point where we can really, especially myself, can just focus on building and delivering, and not worrying about running out of one runway and all that stuff. Yeah, barring any unexpected events, of course. And part of that included the help from the community via, agreeing to hire Cryptomancer. I think that proposal officially passed yesterday. That will be a big help to the company while still allowing development on land to continue. I think it goes without saying that Cryptomancer is really awesome and an amazing asset to have working on that project. I appreciate the community's help. We're all in the same boat together, and I think we're now finally in a really good position to move forward and start things on an upward trend rather than a downward trend. Um, that being said, that's a good segue um, into the fact that we are starting to put the DHF funds, the decentralized Hive funds that we are currently receiving from the Hive blockchain DAO to use to start putting together our marketing and promotional plan going into next year. And the first thing that I'm excited to announce is we have added someone new to the team. Um, who will be paid partly out of the DHF funds and agreed also to take part of the pay in SPS tokens because he is a longtime Splinterlands player and community member. I will let him talk more about that. Welcome, Blaze KOS, to the team and to the town hall.
Hey, everybody. Hey, thanks for having me. Hey, just a little introduction. My name's Chris, aka Blaze. I've joined the Splinterlands team to help bring the masses to Pretoria. So a bit about me. I was born in California. I've been back and forth between there and Portugal my entire life. And now I reside in Portugal. Technology and gaming has always been a big part of my life since 1985, good old Nintendo days. Outside of gaming, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, playing soccer, and collecting sports cards are a few of my hobbies. Professionally, back in the early 2000s, I owned a computer gaming center. That's the era where World of Warcraft, Counter-Strike were the hot games in town, followed by Battlefield and Halo and a couple of others. But it was good times. Cool story. 4 years later, I ended up selling the business to our first customer. So that was a really cool adventure. After that, I got married, and then I joined a software team that was based out of California. I spent 13 years working with them, where I spent the first years in multiple departments getting to know the business inside and out. And then I leveraged my knowledge into sales and marketing and ran for that for over a decade. So that was a fun experience. And then in 2017, I jumped into crypto. Not soon after, I went full degen. So all in crypto. I'm an investor in many projects across multiple blockchains. I helped some startups on EOS and Terra blockchains. And then I've been building up a lot of good connections over the years that'll benefit us in the long run. So I'm looking forward to that. I jumped into Splinterlands in 2020. Among all the noise of the bull and bear, It's always been my favorite project. So I've been playing it day in, day out, bull market, bear market. I really, really enjoy the game, and not only the game, but the community. You guys are awesome. I'm looking forward to putting my time and energy into helping Splinterlands grow. So, and just to add, first impressions coming on board, I started on Monday, and what happens behind the scenes is much more than you guys imagine. It's like many of us imagined when we were kids, North Pole, everybody's building over here, man. There's nonstop. There's chats everywhere, rooms everywhere, software everywhere. It's a little chaotic, but I'm getting the grasp of things, and the team's really helped me out. Royal, Matt, Nate, thank you very much. I can't say much, but I had a call with Nate last night, and there's a lot of cool toys on the shelf. So I'll be sharing that down the road. Stay tuned on X and such. But I'm just getting my battle station dialed in, and getting ready to onboard new players. And I'm really excited to share Splinterlands in a new light. And I believe that you'll all appreciate it. So thank you, and stay tuned.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome to the team. It's super exciting to me because we haven't had anyone in that role for a long time now, and I'm especially excited about Blaze in particular. Now, we did talk to a decent number of people and also some agencies, and the one thing that really sticks out to me and kind of goes along with everyone else in our organization is that like the people we have here are not just like, hey, they need a job and this happened to kind of fall into their lap or whatever. It's really like people that just really love this and really want to do this. So Blaze reached out to us and pretty much nonstop messaged me. Just you could just feel the energy, like how much he just really wanted to do this, and he was like, we'll just figure out however you want to pay me, like whatever. He would take SPS tokens, wants to build up his stake here. And obviously we need to be very careful with our use of our funds. So to me, like getting someone who's just really all about this, versus like an agency where we're just one of a list of projects that they assign someone to, or someone who just needs a job and this is just as good as the next project. That's not what we're looking for, and those are the type of people that go the extra mile, that stick around when things get tough. People that I don't need to micromanage because I know they're going to be putting in the effort. So really, really excited that that worked out, and to have him start. Uh, in addition, though, to Blaze, we've also been talking with someone that Patrick introduced us to, who was the head of marketing at Illuvium in the past. If you guys know Illuvium, really big Web3 gaming company. And he's also someone, he hasn't been a Splinterlands player or anything like Blaze, but was kind of excited to work with us and help us out. So we're trying to work out kind of a low cost part-time arrangement. And he also wanted to take SPS tokens with a lockup agreement just to invest in the project. So I hope to announce that soon, to have him come on, part-time, to just help with the marketing strategy. And then Blaze would kind of be in charge of implementing the strategy, the boots on the ground type of work, with what we come up with. And once we have some of that stuff all finalized, I also plan to make a post on our Splinterlands account on Hive to kind of give an update to the Hive community and Splinterlands community, about how we're starting to use some of the funds from the proposal, and so they can see that we're starting to use that, and hopefully get excited about the talent that we're bringing on, and the potential that we're going to have. Along with that, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this kind of next, but we plan to use some of the DHF funds to pay for the development work to get a mobile app back in the stores, which is facilitated by all the work that's been done over the past year to upgrade the entire website to our new technology that works with mobile kind of out of the box. So when that's at the very end point of being completed, and then we plan to kind of wrap the website into a mobile app that can be back in the app stores, which is going to be extremely important to any marketing efforts that we do, and also to help fund some of the onboarding work that we're doing, just improving the onboarding process, which I'm going to talk about a little more. So, these are the type of things that we're going to be using the DHF funds for, and that's part of what we asked for them for was, at the end of the day, get more people into Splinterlands, which is more people also coming in and using the Hive blockchain. So it benefits both communities together. So this is like Blaze is the very first thing that we're starting with. And my expectation and hope is that it's kind of like a snowball effect. We start with a very small thing and it gets rolling, and by the end we have a big boulder of marketing and promotion, getting a whole ton of new people in here. So before I go on to more stuff, I am going to turn it over first to Investigator and then to Nate for the development and creative updates, and then we'll kind of get into the nitty gritty of some of the stuff that's been going on. So what do you have for us today, Investi?
Good morning. So we did just come off of a fairly large update, which was the first time we've actually had a week off between updates in a good solid month or so. So I won't go back and revisit that too much, but we did finally take some time and do a pass through a lot of the outstanding battle bugs. So there was a lot of gameplay updates and fixes. But looking ahead, so we are planning to do a small update on the 22nd, primarily to transition to the next Hall of Legends upcoming event, since the current one will also be ending on the 22nd, for anyone keeping track of our countdown timers. Right now, we have a couple of small quality of life fixes ready to go. Nothing too major, but we are changing the media link in the footer to go to our new community assets folder. We fixed an issue with a particular subfilter on Glint currency activity. We are updating the notification when you purchase a Gladius case to direct you to go to the mana well to open it. And we're adding a close button on the low card warnings in case you don't want to go to the market or proceed to the battle. You can just close it and stay on the screen that you're currently on. Again, we just did a big update. What's coming up in the next update is smaller changes of what we're going to have done. Our next major update is going to be on the 29th, where we are hoping to get out, and this is, I'll note, pending testing and nothing coming up and everything being ready on time, our 100-day card auction, which we have previously talked about. And with any luck, the gold foil rarity draws for cards. So those should be the next two major items going out in our big update. Do you want me to talk a little bit about our rest of the year kind of general priorities and kind of the big 6 things we're hoping to get done?
I was gonna go over that, after you and Nate talked. So if you don't mind holding off on that for a little bit.
Okay, that's fine. So those are our immediate upcoming next couple updates. We will hopefully get some other changes in as well. I know that Creative has given us a whole bunch of screen redesigns. We've got some work going on a tweak to the advanced league tier animation and playing. So hopefully that will also be done probably by the 29th update. And we'll see when we get the rest of it done, because we've got plenty of things to do. But without going into longer term plans, that's the immediate updates. I go, Nate.
Yeah, no, that's great. So, hopefully the 100-day card auction, which we will also be talking about more later. Maybe Nate has something to share when we get to that part. And yeah, gold foil draws. I, like many people, have been waiting for those and kind of saving up Glint. So looking forward to that too. And like Harry said, we'll be talking about kind of longer term plans in a little bit also. But first, the much expected and exciting creative update.
No, thanks, and I'm probably just going to be riding your guys' coattails. I don't have that much to share really, but hopefully by the end of the town hall, at least some of it later on will be impactful enough to get people pretty excited.
And I
But
meant anticipated, not expected. Much anticipated and exciting creative update.
there we go. Um, I will say it's very cool to hear Investigator talk about what's coming up later on in the month in terms of the league tiers. By the way, I have nothing to share about that visually, but I'm just expressing my excitement and enthusiasm for it's something that I've been wanting to see happen for a while, which is when you achieve a new league tier, those milestone events, that emotional reaction that comes from within, that joy and happiness of not only getting stuff, because now we added loot chests and stuff, but just the joy of it, giving yourself a pat on the back and saying, "Oh, I did something, and it's meaningful and it's fulfilling." So, so we did redesign that page and that process and how it looks. Uh, I'm not sure if they're in the game yet or not. I don't remember, but Asaria did make these cool sound effects. I told her, "Hey, when the badge changes, it'd be cool if we got a little something more than just some swishing sounds. What can we do?" And so now you hear the crowd cheering. So when you unlock a new league tier, you go from gold 3 to gold 2. You hear people cheering you, and you hear the swish of the league transitioning. And we redesigned the page to look more meaningful and impactful and exciting. And that goes hand in hand with what we want new players to experience, of course, not just old players, but new players. We want them to go from bronze 3 to bronze 2, and it's fulfilling, it's meaningful, it's great and awesome, and they're excited. So I'm pretty cool. I can't wait to see those all the remaining changes happen the 29th, it sounds like. So for something visual, let's see what we got. We talked about gold foil draws several times now, so I will drop this here just to celebrate the fact that yes, those are coming. There is an image of an epic gold foil. Where they show up in the reward shop, the Glint store, is something we were even talking about during the mic check for this town hall investigator. And we're like, well, where exactly should it go? So I'm guessing it'll probably end up under the regular draws. It'll say standard draws and gold foil draws, but it might be further down the page as you scroll. We'll see. We'll see. We got to test and see where's the best place for it. But for those who want to see have the social flex of gold foils and then also that cool look, that visual aesthetic on the battlefield, your gold frames. That's pretty exciting. Uh, what else we got here? Also, something we talked about last town hall, which I'm not really going to get in depth about it now, but yes, I'm super excited that Matt May is making glamours a relatively high priority, and that's on deck for implementation as soon as it's convenient and we're able to do it. It's the design, the specs, all of it is sitting there ready to go, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. But just to whet your appetites, I looked at what I shared on the last town hall for glamours. I'm like, what did I not share yet? So I'm like, well, how about the glamour detail screen? So obviously there's some variables on this screen because some of the stuff is TBD. So I'm dropping the image here and we could kind of talk about it a little bit. Essentially, when you go to your card details screen, there'll be a new tab. It'll say glamours. You'll click on that tab and then you'll be able to scroll through via carousel right beneath the card, which glamours you own for that particular card. So in this situation, you have the masquerade glamour that you could apply to the Ember Guard. And if you didn't watch last town hall, and this is all new to you, let me catch you up to speed. Glamours is our cosmetics system that we want to implement, and rather than just toss out skins like normal card games do, or lots of other games do, we said, well, you know what? This could prove a differentiator. This could prove something to set us ourselves away from the pack. In fact, further down the field, and just do it right. Do it in a way that only Web3 can do. So what we have here is a system whereby you can kind of like level up not just the cosmetics, their aesthetics of your cards, but Matt was really gung-ho about adding some form of utility that he could choose to talk about or not talk about when the time comes. So you'll notice that level 1, 2, 3, and 4, each time you achieve a new glamour level, you're basically unlocking either new aesthetics or new utility, and it'll be pretty cool as we get closer and closer to launch. um, I can't wait to share even more of that stuff with you. But as you notice, at least one of the aesthetics will be those little gem slots at the top of the card frame to indicate the level of your glamour, the glamour spell that you're casting on these cards. You'll also notice the new special effects on the side. This is fire element. So, of course, we display a little bit of fire. Um, Over the last couple days, I was reviewing some new animations from our animator for, what was it? Life and neutral. And those are coming along well. So I can't wait for when tech modernization is finally done for the battle screen. We'll then be able to say, okay, let's follow that up immediately with testing out all these cool little animations to spice up the battle playback. And I'm particularly excited about that because the narrative of the battles is that you, the player, are a battle mage. You are bringing these cards to life with these illusionary manifestations. And the fact that now there's going to be some fire sizzling around it or some scary death skulls, shimmering around the cards on the battlefield just kind of like further emphasizes what's happening in this fantasy world of Praetoria in the Splinterlands. So that's pretty cool to me. I really dig it. I hope you guys dig it too. Let me see what else we got here. And then I'm not gonna investigator commented how next Tuesday we're just kind of trying to do what we got to do to maintain the Hall of Legends, where the new promo pairs. We show a preview of those during the countdown page and stuff. So we're not quite at the stage yet where I feel comfortable sharing stats yet. Although from what I hear, some pretty cool concepts going on. But at least artistically wise, I'm kind of excited about this guy. I'll share the art right here. Uh, this is Rick Loneman. And for those of you guys who follow the lore, uh, Rick, I call him Rick, so I don't have to say Rick Loneman. That's a lot of syllables. So Rick has been in the game's lore for quite a while. In fact, um, let me see if this is fun. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. Here is his first appearance. Like in comic books, right? The comic book goes up in value if it's the first appearance of some character that becomes big down the road, right? So in a way, this is Rick's first appearance. Is that we had a blog article where we wrote up the story and introduced Rick as a character. This was back in December of 2021. So Rick's first appearance within Splinterlands lore is like 3 years ago. Um, and every time we looked, just like Dahlia, who is currently on the Hall of Legends right now, we were trying to find the right time where our game designer, call me Tim, found the right moment to where the stats made sense to introduce that character. And this is one of those moments where it was like, okay, we can finally introduce Rick. Like the stats are lining up with who he is, his background, which is basically he's like the special ops guy in the forest who works either as a lone wolf or as leading a strike team, right? He's a very cool character. And so yeah, I'm very excited. He will be after this current promo pairing in the Hall of Legends expires, then you'll see his face pop up on the preview, and then I can't wait to share with you guys the stats and abilities via the blog post before he goes for sale. I'm sure that he'll be just as exciting as the current promo pair, and you guys are gonna really want this guy. And then I'm gonna save whatever I have left until later on after Matt has a chance to talk. So that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you, Nate. I mean, most of the times this is the first time I'm seeing a lot of this stuff on the town hall, so I'm like really paying attention and like clicking and enlarging the images, with everyone else as you're talking. So I gotta get myself back into my notes here. Uh, the biggest thing just dropped recently that I wanted to start off with was Conclave Arcana. the next major set after Rebellion for Splinterlands. We published a proposal to the DAO yesterday. That's similar in arrangement to the one that we did for Rebellion about a year ago, for the DAO to help cover the cost of the development of the set, do a 50-50 revenue split, and announce what we plan to be the details of the set, which comes with a number of pretty significant changes from previous sets that has so far gotten a really, really good reaction from the community. Most of the things have come from community feedback, so that's to be expected. And we really appreciate, especially groups like the People's Guild, who are encouraging, kind of organized suggestions and comments and getting people thinking about different things. And the team, we read all those things as much as we possibly can, and we do whatever we can to try to incorporate, the ideas that we like or that work with what we're trying to do into our plans. So hopefully the community has seen that and appreciates that with the latest proposal. I'm sure most of you read the proposal, so this may be some recap, but just in case, we expect the set to be ready to be released by the end of April of next year. So we're looking roughly 6 months out for that. And I think that should work nicely with our marketing and promotional plans. That'll give Blaze and potentially the other person I mentioned some time to really put together a good marketing plan to accompany the launch, which is something we've really lacked with most of the things we've launched in the past. It'll also hopefully give us time to get a mobile app back in the app stores, get a much better onboarding experience, and just really have everything in place and ready to go for this major launch. So that was part of the thinking behind the timing as well. One of the biggest changes to what we've ever done in the past is that we plan to release a number of different pack types with this set. So no longer just the standard 5-card booster. We plan to have legendary and alchemist packs, which again, if you haven't read the post, will be similar 5-card packs, except the legendary ones will have one guaranteed legendary card. It could have more. And the Alchemist packs will have at least one guaranteed gold foil card. Also, again, could have more. Obviously, those will be priced higher. And a number of people have asked about kind of the math behind the pricing. And the way I looked at it was that both of those give roughly double the chances, double the amount of legendary or gold foil cards per dollar of the booster packs. So if you are more interested in collecting gold foil cards, then buying the gold foil packs would be the way to go, because per dollar you should on average receive about double the amount of gold foil cards you would have with booster packs. Assuming you would have used potions with the booster packs and the alchemist packs. And same thing for legendary. You should receive double on average the legendary cards you would have received with the booster packs. The downside, obviously, is that you get fewer cards in total. So if you're buying those packs, you're focusing mostly on those type of cards, and in return for getting extras of those cards, you get fewer cards than if you just bought booster packs. And speaking of wanting to get more cards, the third new type of pack that we are adding in, which I really think is, even though it might not be the pack that I personally am going to buy many of, I think for the overall game and our marketing and onboarding plans, the new proposed starter packs are going to be really exciting, which are planned to be 5,000 DEC packs, cost 5,000 DEC, but give 25 cards that will only be common or rare with no gold foil chances. So this will be, primarily geared toward new players, although anyone is more than welcome to purchase them. And it's just a way for people who are more interested in just building up a collection, a robust collection of cards, which I think new players need to do first and foremost before they go after legendary or gold foil cards. They can do that for significantly cheaper than if they only could buy booster packs. So we plan to include a starter pack in with the spellbook purchase. So it makes the spellbook more of a kit, with a lot of things that you need to get started in the game. So it doesn't just unlock rewards and give you the Hive wallet. It'll also still give you the 3,000 credits that you can use for the set rentals, and then it will also give you this starter pack. So you have actual tradable NFTs, or sellable NFTs that you can use in the game. So one of the things, I made an update to the proposal to clarify, because there were a lot of questions about, is the plan is for starter packs, the unopened packs to be non-transferable. So you won't be able to sell those in the non-card market or Hive Engine or anything like that. But when you open the packs, the cards that you will receive will just be normal, transferable, tradable cards, just like anything else. And with that, a lot of people have also been worried that somehow this is going to like flood the market with all these common and rare cards. And I really don't think that's the case, for a couple reasons. One, the pricing of the starter packs, when we did the math around this, is they're priced in such a way that the value, the cost per card is roughly almost exactly the same as the booster packs. So it's not like, if you just buy booster packs, or if you buy starter packs, you get these cards much cheaper. That won't be the case. The cost per card will actually be roughly the same when you factor in the fact that booster packs have epic and legendary and gold foil cards. So assuming the market prices are roughly similar to Rebellion, it's not like you can just buy a bunch of starter packs and get all these cards a lot cheaper. They'll be roughly the same value as the Rebellion cards. So it just wouldn't make any sense for someone to buy like 1 million of them and list them for sale on the market. They would lose money, again, assuming market rates are similar to Rebellion. And additionally, on top of that, it's important for everyone to note that everyone who buys Legendary and Alchemist packs are going to be receiving fewer common and rare cards per dollar, than if they bought booster packs or the starter packs. So we have one type of pack that gives more common and rare cards, and we have 2 other types of packs that are going to give fewer. So like myself personally, I'm still kind of thinking in the back of my head, how many alchemist, how many legendary, whatever. But it's definitely going to be a number of both of those. So I'm going to be receiving fewer common and rare cards. So the thought is that it will mostly balance out, actually, which is part of the thinking and the planning behind this. So I really don't expect or see any reason why there would be some like flood or big drop in price for common and rare cards as compared to, say, Rebellion, because of the starter pack. But the flip side is I think there will be huge benefit, because I think it'll be a lot better for newer players or any player who is more focused on just building a large, robust collection of cards, for a lower price. That I think will really help with the game overall, and our onboarding efforts. We've also talked about in the proposal updates to the conflicts system. So we plan to continue the conflict system with Conclave Arcana. We've heard a lot of concern from the community about what's going to happen with Rebellion cards after the Rebellion conflicts are done, which is very soon. So the plan that we came up with was to also allow Rebellion cards to be used in the Conclave Arcana conflicts, but at half the value of the new cards. So if you want to leg up in those conflicts and be able to get the new cards that are going to come out for that set, hold on to your Rebellion cards and your Rebellion packs. They will still be able to be used, and give you kind of more points than someone who doesn't have them. The other update we were planning for conflicts is to require the mage wagons to have some sort of repairs between each conflict, and some like upgrade cost between to take your Rebellion wagons and have them be usable in the Conclave Arcana conflicts. And it kind of makes sense from a lore perspective. If you think about it, these wagons are going off to war. There might be dragons and wizards casting all kinds of spells. These aren't magic wagons, as far as I know. They're going to take some damage, and the rewards from the conflicts are very significant. Obviously, those airdrop cards are really valuable, especially the legendary summoners. So I don't expect anything different from Conclave Arcana, and I think it makes sense for the overall ecosystem and the benefit of everyone, and token values in the community. to have some type of ongoing sync for those. And as we get closer, we're also going to be exploring ways that we can include other assets and aspects of the game, such as land resources, as a way to upgrade or repair those mage wagons. So the plan is to kind of wait and see. Again, this is about roughly 6 months out, is our time frame. So I don't want to put a lot of details around that right now. I want to wait till we get closer, see where we are with land, see where we are with other things, and then kind of figure out some ideas that make sense. And always open to player feedback and ideas and comments, and probably run some SPS proposals, to get community approval on some of these things. But those are kind of the major changes and announcements around the Conclave Arcana set. I know in the past we had talked about potentially doing a Rebellion mini set, which we were originally not planning to do. That was one of those things where it was kind of when the company was in a difficult financial position. It was like, hey, how can we put something out to kind of bring more money into the ecosystem more quickly? And ultimately, I think the right move and the kind of direction I've been trying to go over the past year is not try to kind of push things out just to get short-term revenue in. Really try to think long-term and do what's best overall for the ecosystem in the long term, and just deal with company expenses, get them more in line, so we don't have to worry about pushing new things out that maybe aren't the best thing to do for short-term revenue. So that's why, and obviously got a lot of community feedback on that as well. And it seemed generally overwhelmingly in favor of going to the next major set. So that is what this proposal is about. And it's really up to the SPS stakeholder community to vote on it and see if that's the way that the community would like to go or not. It seems like generally there's been surprising amount of support for it. I feel like it's one of the first proposals we've put out that had overwhelmingly positive comments, which I feel like means hopefully that we're doing a better job of listening to the community, doing what they want, and which is also what we want, and that going in a good direction overall. So it's really it was really good to see that, because I usually personally have to not read the comments sections because it can be a bit depressing sometimes, but it's got me excited, and yeah, just really excited and looking forward to what's coming up. The fact that the community seems kind of overwhelmingly on board with this and a lot of the details of it. So that's about 6 months out is what we're shooting for. And in that time, we have a number of projects that Investigator alluded to earlier that we would hopefully like to try to get out before or around the same time as the new set. And they kind of all synergize together, which is the goal of it. We've talked about the mobile app. That's one of the things, like I said, we've been working a ton over the past year to redo, literally redo the entire website, throw out everything that existed for the front end website, rebuild it with modern frameworks and things that I was not familiar with when we were originally building the website, unfortunately, that will just not only allow it to work on mobile out of the box. We don't have to have a separate mobile site and desktop site like we did with the previous app, but also just make it a lot easier for developers to come in and work on this, clean it up, make it all kind of standardized with one modern framework. So that is getting very close to being finished. The last screen is the actual battle screen itself that we hope to have done in the next couple months or so. Then we wrap that into an app that we can put in the App Store, and that will hopefully be extremely helpful to our marketing and onboarding efforts. I mean, pretty much everyone we talked to was like, well, you're not going to see as good results if you don't have a mobile app effectively. And we agree with that. So that's why that's pretty much one of the highest priority things right now that we would like to have out before the new set release. And alongside of that is also an overhaul of the onboarding experience. I know we've talked about that for a long time. We haven't focused on that too much yet, although Royal Eagle has been doing a lot of work with like the little kind of low-hanging fruit, and he kind of put together a list of all the things we've done already. But now once the site upgrade is winding down, we're going to really focus on rethinking the onboarding experience and specifically building in a free-to-play experience for the game. So right now, before you buy the spell book, you really can't do much of anything. You don't have a great experience, and that $10 paywall is kind of a big deterrent for a lot of people. So the thinking is, why can't we allow people to come in and experience pretty much the entire game without having a crypto wallet or without having to purchase the spell book? If they want to come in and earn glint, and they can only get soulbound items, they won't be able to transfer anything out of their account because they don't have a wallet. But if they want to buy packs and get more cards and move up in rankings and earn more rewards that again are all soulbound, that's still great for us and for the community. And we want those people, and hopefully that will encourage more people then to want to get that wallet and get the tradable assets and be able to earn the SPS and other types of tradable rewards. So that's part of the project we're working on, is everything that we need to do technically to allow that to happen. And as part of that, there's the affiliate system rework, which was an approved proposal from a little while back. And just all part of, not just having a mobile app, but having like a really good kind of familiar Web 2-ish onboarding experience for people that allows them to come in and play and earn and move up. But now that we have all these soulbound assets and rewards, we don't have to worry about it being exploited as we did in the past. So again, that's like all these changes we've been making over the past couple years have been kind of getting our system to a place where we can do this stuff, because in the past we couldn't, because it would just be exploited by automated accounts and automated projects and things like that. So those are kind of the two big projects as far as getting new people into the game and keeping them here. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to use some of the DHF funds to help pay for that work, because that falls squarely under what those funds were allocated for. And then in addition to that, Nate talked more about the Glamour system that we kind of announced last town hall last month. So that's one that I've been really excited about for a long time. It's basically a skins system with a lot more cooler stuff than just skins. It'll allow for a lot more things to be able to be purchased in the glint shop, in the voucher shop for DECs, maybe even some that can be unlocked through land via research or other things. So it's just basically adding an entirely new type of asset into the ecosystem that isn't required, but comes with benefits. To give utility to a lot of the resources that we have, and it also what Nate and the creative team have put together looks really cool. So I'm excited to have my cool cards with their effects and the alternate art and all that stuff. And I think kind of the last major project of these things, again, all of which we're hoping to have done before or around the time of the new set, is what I kind of teased out using the new snaps feature that was released on Peak D, that I just called hardcore mode. I'm not going to talk about that too much yet because it's still in the early design and development phase. The name is also probably subject to change, but at a high level, the concept behind hardcore mode is really focusing on giving more value and utility to the older cards. Obviously, there's land, which is one area for where older cards can be used. But hardcore mode was something that was initially proposed by Patrick. It was a really good concept, and we're kind of figuring out a way we can integrate that concept kind of quickly and easily, and encourage players not only to have older cards, especially as Chaos Legion is going to be rotating out of modern format, not just to continue to give value to those cards, but also to focus on giving value to people for having multiples of those cards, which is something I don't think I've mentioned before. So currently in the game, except for land, you have one, deep lurker or something, and that's all you need. One of the concepts behind what we're titling hardcore mode is that to encourage people to get multiples of cards that are especially good or especially useful, that we really think can bring back a lot of the market volume for sales and rentals. We saw that a lot in the past with like the bot armies, and despite all the problems bot armies caused, they did actually rent or even purchase a lot of cards. And a lot of volume was lost because if they had 1,000 accounts, they would need some of these cards. They would need 1,000 copies of them. So one of the things we were looking at is how we can sort of get the benefits of that. People who are willing to rent or purchase hundreds or thousands of copies of key cards without but be able to do it on a single account, and without causing some of the problems that bot farms caused in the game. So that's kind of the high level concepts behind what we're trying to do here. And me personally, as someone who has like tons of Chaos Legion and even older cards and multiple copies of them, and too many even to work on land that I have, I don't know. I think this is really exciting. So those are kind of the 4 major projects we're hoping to get out again before or around the time of Conclave Arcana. Include all of that in a big marketing and promotional push, led by Blaze. So we're looking at what could be an extremely exciting first half of 2025 with all that stuff happening. You guys, Investier Nate, feel free to jump in if I've forgotten or misstated anything, or you want to add anything.
No, I mean, everything you said. I mean, we've talked internally, and it sounds great. Sounds awesome. I can't wait to share more of what you're hinting at in the near future. But did you want to touch on auction stuff or no?
Yeah, that was the next
Oh,
thing
okay.
I was gonna get into. So yeah, Nate gave me a segue there. The Hall of Legends is currently going on. The second promo card sale is coming to an end, I think, next Tuesday, and then there'll be a 2-week break before the next 2 cards go out. In my opinion, that's been going really well. Some people were concerned that the cards won't sell, or people won't be interested in them. But I think it's been going fantastic. It looks like the DAO should at the very least break even, if not have a decent profit from that. And even if it's only break even, that's still extremely helpful for the company to have the capital it needs to operate and keep going. So it's a huge win, even if the DAO itself ends up being break even on a DEC basis. But in addition to that, we have sort of an extra 6th promo card sale that we're hoping that will go out by the end of the month, which is this 100-day promo card sale, which was an idea that I had from looking at projects like Nouns DAO and a few others, if you're familiar with that, where it's an NFT project, but instead of having like a mint where they sell 10,000 of them, they auction one of them off every day. So we plan to have a very special limited edition promo card that there will only be 100 max level copies of. And we plan to auction one of them in DEC tokens that will all go to the DAO, by the way, every day. So yeah, I think Nate might have some things he would like to share around that particular card.
Yeah, absolutely. So I usually get a little nervous about sharing too much unless Matt says, yeah, go ahead. And he said, go ahead. So of course, everything I say subject to change. Always got that disclaimer. But at least we can start off with something nice and easy. Here's the artwork for the new character. Her name is Heloise the Hollow. As you can see from her background, she's going to be Death Earth element. So if you're a big fan of either Death or Earth, then time to celebrate. As you can see, she has kind of like this Ursula from Little Mermaid vibe going on, but maybe in a slightly sexier way. She looks pretty cool. Has a big old sword and magic and smoky energy coming out from everywhere. So pretty excited about just the artwork herself.
You need to hear my voice on the comment on the sexy Ursula card. I also want to say I know a lot of people were hoping or wondering about if it was going to be the Yabat Mat card, which the community asked for. So we're not going with that right yet, but that is still something that the team plans to do. I think there's been a lot of I don't know, back and forth on how to go with that card and make it appropriately cool, which I appreciate. So we do still plan to do that. And maybe, if this 100-day promo card goes well and people like it, perhaps we can do other ones, and maybe that will be where a Yabat Mat card comes in, or somewhere else. So I apologize for anyone who was hoping for that yet. You'll still have to wait a little more, but in the meantime, this is shaping up to be a really amazing card. And I look forward to this new auction mechanic and seeing how that goes.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I could have sworn I saw on tests some explorations of the Yaba card. So I guess we'll see when the time is right. I know that the team, maybe for fear of their jobs, wants to make sure that it's an awesome card. We can't let Matt down. If we release a card where it's not like the most epic thing ever, Matt might get angry and fire us all, right? So we got to make sure it's really good.
I also saw the contest for players to design the card, and I was like, man, those look really cool and amazing. So
oh yeah,
we
I
might
saw
have to
some of those.
really up the bar for that one.
No, definitely. I read a few blog articles. That was a great initiative from, I think, People's Guild, right?
Hmm.
So no, that was awesome. Now on to what you guys have probably been waiting for. Again, subject to change. Just like I think the last time I did this was for Delia, and then even during the town hall, I was like, "Well, hold on, Nate, we are making a change." And we're like, "Crap, dang it!" So,
I would take this as
so
the direction we are currently going
there you go.
for the card.
So here are I'm going to drop that down first. We'll drop an image of the stats and abilities, then we'll kind of digest it. We'll kind of break it down. My understanding is, well, no, I could speak to this definitely. I would say that the QA testing group, Call Me Tim and Hewlett, of course, trying to design the thing that's going to be where people are going to want to spend their money. They're going to go on these auctions every day and fight. So they had a pretty big challenge in front of them. They couldn't just put out anything. That'll put out something that the entire player base was going to fight for on a daily basis until all 100 were minted. And so the stats were flying left and right. The QA testing team, everyone involved with that, was this fun enough? Was this exciting enough? Would I be willing to pay a whole bunch of money for this? And so when the dust settled, this is what rose from those efforts. And I gotta say, it's pretty freaking nuts. Now you'll notice that she has two completely new abilities, never before seen in the game. Not one, but two of them. But before we even get to that, I mean, look at that that mana cost to attack ratio. I mean, 9 mana cost for an 8 attack, which is freaking crazy considering she's opportunity. So number one, she's taunting you, and we'll get to why you would want this DPSer to taunt. You might look at that and like, no, I don't. I want her to just be doing damage, man. I don't want her taunting. Well, hold on. You don't know what the two new abilities do yet. So she's taunting and screaming at the enemy team, and then just on her turn, she's just going like death, death. It reminds me of that meme where the Grim Reaper is opening up doors, and you see blood coming out from under the doorway as it. You see that meme a lot in terms of projects or anything at all. This is who that is. She's essentially, I think, Call Me Tim's original placeholder name was something like the Reaper or something like that, because that was in the test team's minds, is like, what's just going to go out there and just annihilate. Now let's go ahead and talk about the new abilities, and then if you can't see them clearly on that image, I'll zoom in for you guys. Here is we'll talk about one and then the other. we mentioned, why do you want her taunting? I mean, she has decent health, but is she tank worthy health? Is she damage mitigating? The first ability is called Spite. Why is it called Spite? Because you'll notice there's a skull in the middle of that graphic. It's because if she dies, if someone comes because she's taunting, like, hey, come kill me, and someone says, okay, I'll kill you, takes their spear and just jams it right in her, and she dies, what that does is it triggers Spite. And what Spite is essentially 100% guaranteed retaliate. So if you dare to go ahead and even try to kill her and you actually succeed, she will immediately go and take that massive, ginormous sword of hers and just whack your head off for troubling her with the inconvenience of death. And since she has an 8 freaking melee attack, unless that attacker has force field, they're toast. I mean, they've had it. Now that leads to the next ability. After she's pierced and she whacks the attacker's head off and she falls to the ground and she's dead, the next ability means she gets back up. I don't know if you guys notice the similarities between how that graphic looks and the rebirth ability. Right now, I think there's only 2 cards in the game that have rebirth. One of them is the famous Rooney card. This is not called rebirth. This is called Soul Siphon. It is a self-resurrect ability, but instead of just self-resurrecting, she's essentially sucking the soul out of an ally. So there is a little bit of downside to it, but there's also some tremendous upside as well. Not only does she get back up, she reduces a non-wearied unit ally to 50% health, so they lose some health. She self-resurrects at 50% health, so it's not just 1 health point. She's like, okay, she has enough to start swinging that sword again. What's curious about that is, unlike rebirth, where it just happens 1 time, she will continue to self-resurrect herself until there's no more non-wearied allies left on her team. So you kill her, she whacks your head off, she dies, she comes back. You kill her again, she comes back to life, whacks your head off until there's no more allies on our team that don't have weary inflicted on them. That is a side effect of getting your soul sucked out of you. Is you go 50% down in health and you become weary. You're inflicted with that weary effect. So very cool. I think they balanced the pros and cons of this card in a way to where the strategic depth is not only fun, but it is captivating, and it's really it changes up the meta for a lot of just on the tank and DPS front. And she's just a cool concept. She's a cool card. So we will be creating a blog post to dig in a little deeper, because some of you guys, I believe, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, the auction is only for max levels. There will not exist anything other than max level for this card.
Yeah, it'll be like what are the other ones? Lux Vega. There's a couple others, I think, that were only max level. Waka, yeah. And yeah, just, I mean, to remember, obviously, there's only going to be 100 of these cards total. It's entirely possible that not even 100 different accounts actually get all the cards. If certain accounts, not going to name names, end up, getting more than one in the auctions. So, yeah, extremely limited edition. I don't know if it will necessarily change the meta if there's not a ton of them. But certainly at the highest levels of play, I think it will. And we hope, not only is this an amazing card, but also that there's reasonable counters to it, and that it's well balanced. And I think part of making an exciting game, and I don't know if it was the designer. There was a game designer. I don't know if it was the one from Hearthstone or someone else. I heard talking about like fun game design, especially for these type of games, is not just making a bunch of boring, perfectly balanced cards, but actually making like really exciting and very overpowered cards, but that are able to be countered, right? And that's kind of what the game is about. It not only having the right cards, but knowing when to use them in the different situations. And that's like it's still to this day my favorite thing that Splinterlands does that most games that I've played don't do, is it has different situations via the rule sets and the mana caps and everything. So there's really not something that is just flat out an overpowered card. It's just overpowered in certain situations, and in other situations it's useless or unusable. Like you're not going to be using Heloise in a 12 mana cap battle. Maybe you will. I don't know. But in any case, that's what's really cool about this to me is like the skill of the game is knowing what cards to use and when to use them, and then also how to potentially counter them. And especially with the tactics summoners, I see this as becoming a way to use certain of the tactics. You see, oh, my opponent used Heloise. What summoner abilities might you pick instead of the other options for that? So kind of all these concepts we've had for years of more agency in the game, and then being able to do more neat stuff with the cards along with that. I'm really excited that that stuff is starting to come to fruition, and I feel like it's made the game much more like fun and interesting. And I just want to keep going along that path.
No, for sure. I think, based upon the comments I see in chatter, I think people can recognize the value of the card. And what's even more exciting is that today we introduced Blaze. So, like, we already started the Hall of Legends. We have a lot to celebrate every single month. I mean, really, when you think about it, whether you're talking about conflicts and a monthly celebration there, whether you're talking about the 2 promo pairings in the Hall of Legends, there's something to celebrate there. Now with the auction, there's more to celebrate. It's like bam, 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 bam. I think it's going to be very cool to have someone dedicated on just announcing to the world all the cool stuff that's constantly happening and worthy of celebration on the Splinterlands game. So I think the stars are lining up.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk a little more. I was typing. Yeah, let me clarify that the current plan is that 5 of the 100 cards will be gold foil, and the dates of each auction and each card and whether it's regular or gold foil will be available before this all launches. It's typically up to 4% of cards are typically gold foil, because with the potions, it leads to a 4% chance of getting gold foil cards. So this would be 5% of the total, so slightly more. But yeah, the gold foils obviously are going to be extremely rare. I would personally like to get one. I don't know if I can compete with Bugtis and some of the other people, but that's to me that's a good thing. If that we have a big enough community where I as the creator can't even get the things that I want, and it's also part of what being a Web3 and blockchain project is about. In a Web2 project, the creators could just give themselves everything and you're the team members, but that's not the case here. I'm going to have to shell out, and I have been purchasing DEC off the markets lately and continue to do that. In fact, if while I have the ear of the community, if anyone is looking to sell DEC in bulk, reach out to me in DM there. But I'm getting ready not just for the 100-day auction. There's 3 more promo cards I plan to buy, and then who knows what the price of DEC will be when Conclave Arcana comes out. I'm going to want to get some of that. And I mentioned in the chat earlier, I plan to buy more Rebellion packs before those sell out, just in case. So, like I've said a bunch of times, like the whole idea of starting this game was literally the game that I wanted to play. So, yeah, I mean, I am still loving it and very excited about it. That all the things that we do are, one of the major things that I look at for our projects and our priorities are like, does this make me want to play it more? Does this make me want to get more stuff in the game? And I feel like I'm very similar to a lot of you guys in what we generally like and want to do. So I use that as like the gut check, we try to look at data and we try to obviously get feedback and everything, but there's like kind of a last gut check, like, do I personally and other people on the team feel this is a cool thing that they're excited about? And with this 100-day promo card, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I want to do this. So we're doing it. Let's see. I didn't have too much left on the list to discuss. Obviously, with land, the proposal recently passed. For the DAO to cover the costs for Cryptomancer to continue to develop that. I mean, I don't think there's any particular updates since last time, other than Cryptomancer is working on getting the next set of resources out as soon as possible, and then we're always looking at ways to incorporate land and those resources into some of the other things we're doing, whether it's the new conflicts or the glamours or whatever else. The goal is, once we get those new resources out and and Cryptomancer is more comfortable working with and developing land, my hope is that we can start integrating it into the game a lot more, and then start to have real, actual use cases for the stuff, for the land stuff, which I hope will really kind of kickstart a lot of excitement back into land. And then there's also the validators, the SPS validators. As most of you know, the code was open sourced about a month ago. I think Patrick and the team has gotten a bunch of feedback from people who have downloaded and looked at it, which is great. And as far as I know, I think they're still on track for having that go live in the not too distant future. I don't know, Investigator, do you have any? You follow that closer than I do.
It's getting there. There's a number of things that need to be cleaned up before it's fully live, but we're working on them. That's also probably going to be the next non-interesting land updates, is stuff around cleanup for how we do land SPS to make it work with the validators. There's going to be a lot of boring behind the scenes stuff that isn't functionally different, but is us switching out things to handle validators being the source of truth for SPS rather than us. So
yeah, a lot of that stuff, little kind of annoying things to just I mean, we got to update most of the game also to make sure it works with validators, whether it's land or whatever. But like I mean, since starting this in 2018, like that was kind of a goal, was to have at least part of this, if not all of this, operate completely independently of any centralized control from the company or anyone else. And this will be the first major piece of that. So that going live, where the SPS token is a completely community run and operated token and ecosystem within Splinterlands, is just so exciting for me. So yeah, kudos to the team for all the work that's going into fix everything and get it ready to have the current game interoperate with that. But it's just a huge milestone for this community and this project. That's really not too far out, despite all the times of, oh, we hope to get this released by X date and X date, and they never happened. It's happening now. Again, thanks to the DAO funding it, so it's 100% a priority. It can't be kind of co-opted with other things. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Yeah, is there anything else I didn't touch on? That's kind of the end of my notes of what to cover.
Sounds like perfect timing, since we're about question and answer time, right?
Okay.
Probably give a thank you to everybody that gave feedback in the UX and suggestions channel. We've tried to implement what we thought were good ideas, or added them to the backlog. I think Lilyfire's been tagging everybody, but thank you for feedback to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just, things that we think are good ideas, but also, things that we are able to get in with reasonably small effort. Some of the things are bigger projects. It doesn't mean that it's not a good idea if we don't do it right away. It just means we may not be able to get to it yet. yeah, really want to encourage everyone in the community to keep giving ideas, whether it's through posts or contests or the feedback channels or whatever. You and not to get discouraged if your ideas don't get implemented or take a long time to get implemented. That's part of the process. I mean, everyone on the team also has tons of ideas, and many of them don't get implemented. I've said even on our recent call, part of my job here is saying no to things. It's just the way of things. We have limited resources, so there's probably 100 good ideas, and we pick like 3 of them. So it doesn't mean your idea is not good. It just means it may not align with our priorities or our resourcing right now. But the more ideas we get, the more chances we'll find those really amazing ideas that change the game. You just need to, the more shots you take, the more chance you have of hitting. So that's part of the value of our community is we only get so many ideas from our internal group at the company, but from the thousands of players, the amount of ideas we can get is much larger, and then higher chances of us kind of coming across the next big idea. So really want to keep encouraging that. With that said, let's turn it over to the Q&A portion of the show. Please, Ron he was ready. He got the message out. So please preface your questions with question. And I'll also say when posting questions in the town hall chat in between the actual town hall events, I've put a reminder on my phone to try to make sure to get to those more often. Even if they're not a question and it's a suggestion or whatever it is, preface it with question, big in bold. It makes it easier for me because there's a lot of also, discussion in that channel. So I just really I scroll through and just look for a big word question. So if you want even if it's not actually, a question, if it's something you would like me to read and respond to, put question in bold before it. I won't get upset if it is in fact a suggestion and not a question. All right, let's see. And Ron, please jump in and let me know if we have some questions from the other chats, because I'm mostly going to be looking at Discord. Question from Kazrak. Regarding the Glamour system, have you guys made up your minds what kind of benefits Glamour is going to provide? I wouldn't say it's 100% set in stone, but yes, we do have ideas that we are currently going with. I'll share that there are currently things like increased glint or other things that will benefit you in the overall game ecosystem. We had kind of explored even giving cards increased stats potentially in battles with glamours, and that's ultimately something we are currently not planning on doing for various reasons. But so look for a bunch of outside of battle benefits from the glamours. Question from Brybro. Any thought on including new card packs somehow in Glint chess? Minor chess could have a higher rate for starter packs. Major and ultimate chess could have a higher rate for alchemy legendary packs. Possibly, we would have to, make sure we figure that out as far as the distribution of those. That would ultimately have to be a DAO proposal, because the DAO is the one who, is creating and selling the set and just hiring the company to do it. So I would say it's not out of the question, but there's a lot of things that need to be answered or figured out before we do that.
It'd probably be easiest to put them in the jackpot system that's already there to give out rare chance prizes. So if we put some packs in the jackpot account, they would go out to any type of chest with a increasing rarity chance.
Yeah. So we'll see about that one, I'll say. Question from Led Joel. Hey Matt, hope you're doing all right. Yeah, doing good. I mean, it goes up and down, but especially energized and excited with the positive response to the recent proposal, getting the financial situation more under control, and just kind of all the things that we have in the hopper over the next 6 months. Doing much better, just thinking about that stuff more than dealing with problems. So thank you for asking. And then Led Joel goes on to say, I just had an idea about what to do with the old cards, mainly Alpha, Beta, and Untamed. We can have wagered games where you wager a certain amount of SPS DEC at the beginning of each game and enter the arena. After the battle, the winner takes 90% and 10% goes to the DAO. And we can make the feature exclusive to older decks. Yeah, possibly. There's been a lot of talk internally and some ideas around types of systems like that where there's some type of value put in and then it's distributed to the winners. We'll have to see. I mean, I think my feeling is that that type of stuff is cool to certain people. But there hasn't been historically a whole ton of appetite, even for like tournaments that had entry fees, just had extremely low participation rates. So I think that stuff is cool, and there's been a lot of ideas, like also like draft type tournaments where you would actually like buy packs to enter the tournament, and you can only use the cards in those packs and things like that were tossed around. But as far as priorities go, I think the things we have lined up will have a much bigger impact, and you'll hopefully agree when we share some of those with you. So I like those ideas, but as far as like the actual impact they'll have and the actual like number of people that will participate, I just don't feel like they're as high priority as some of the other things that'll have a bigger impact. Key to the Gate is asking, will Rooney go to Wild with Chaos or still be available in Modern? Good question. I'm glad you asked that. So I would leave that up to the community to decide. I didn't want to include it either way in the Conclave Arcana proposal. I wanted to kind of limit that to that set specifically. If that's something the community is interested in, I am totally on board with it and would be happy to put up a proposal to see if the community would like Rooney to be, kind of evergreen modern card. Whereas otherwise it is part of the Chaos Legion set and would otherwise rotate out when the new set is released. So that's something that I see as a good separate proposal.
I like the idea. I'd
Yeah.
probably vote for that proposal. Even if you don't own a Rooney, if with marketing and getting exposure from other chains, and how do you ignore Ethereum? It's just one of those things where it's like it's getting more eyeballs. I like the idea.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, I would just, I can, say that we can go ahead, that the team can go ahead and submit that proposal at some point in the near future and get the community's feedback on it. Question from Key to the Gate. From the proposal, the team's actively exploring other ideas to provide ongoing utility and value for the older cards. Could you kindly share some of the ideas explored? Because I feel it's something that's extremely interesting to the player base and old players, and very important as it'll set expectations on future card price behavior. Yes. So I don't want to share the idea yet, although that is a big part of what we're calling hardcore mode. I don't want to share it yet until we have more concrete things to share, because I don't want to start sharing stuff and getting people excited and then find out it changes or it doesn't work for some reason. So that's like one of the big projects that we hope to have done again before the Conclave Arcana set comes out, and we'll share details as soon as I feel like it is ready. And not just share details, but also get feedback on it. So yeah, I understand that it's exciting and you're looking forward to it, and soon. And part of also what we're trying to do is try to figure out a way not only to put in something really cool that gives value to older cards, but do it in a way where it's relatively simple to implement. There's like tons of cool ideas that are like, build this whole big new thing that we just realistically can't do in any reasonable time frame. So I've been trying very hard to pare the concept down to what is like can be implemented quickly and easily, and actually get out and launched in the near future. And as soon as we have more details and clarity on that, I will 100% share it, because I agree that I think the community will be pretty excited. Question from Kozrock: will merits play a role in the glamour system? For people with maxed gladiators, merits aren't doing much anymore, so that'd be a cool way to give them more utility. Yeah, I mean, the idea is for glamours to be available, for everything. So there'll be, glamours for all sorts of different cards. And since glamours have a bunch of benefits that aren't like card specific, we can even introduce glamours without necessarily alternate card art if that's not ready yet. You can still get the cool effects that just can apply to any card, and the new card frame and the benefits in the game. So you can get glamours for gladiator cards with merits only, and you can get glamours for reward cards with glint only, and maybe you can buy glamours for promo cards with DEC or credits. Maybe there's special glamours for other cards that you can get that you can research on land or whatever. So the cool thing about glamours is it adds this like very wide open new thing to the system that we can offer for like every different type of asset can have access to certain glamours exclusive to that asset, which is one of the things that's very exciting to me from like an overall game economy perspective. Question from Sentinel Rainey: can we please have a holiday card? Well, we did do some updates this Tuesday to add some new art and graphics in for Halloween. Again, it just comes down to resourcing and time, and do we spend the time adding a specific holiday card versus kind of the other things that we're working on. So I don't know. I leave that, Rainey, if you happen to talk to Nate at any point, maybe bring that up. I'm not against it, but it comes down to
Oh
the
boy.
time effort.
Well, I will say that's part of the beauty of the glamour system is that it's a lot easier to introduce a new glamour with a holiday skin than to create a whole new card with stats and abilities and balancing and testing and all the stuff. So I'm really hoping that once the glamour system's in place, then we can have all kinds of holiday glamours throughout the year and have lots of reason to celebrate those things. So I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So whatever the team is able to put in or do, I'm not against it, but I'm not gonna like take people off other projects for it. Next question from Gathering the Magic: is there a plan to include rare chase cards in future packs? These could be max level cards for each rarity in the set, limited and numbered, 100 or even one of one. These could have alternate artwork. Sorry, Nate. And frames. This would greatly incentivize pack sales and add that gambler's feel to buying packs. Imagine pulling a max level tofu alternate art one of one. So yeah, that is something. I wouldn't say there's a plan specifically, but it's definitely something that's discussed. It's something that myself as a collector thinks would be really cool. We've kind of discussed a little bit some of the tech details of implementing that, and I don't think it would necessarily be that difficult. And it could be part of the glamour system also. You could potentially, get let's say a tofu card. That would just come with an exclusive max level glamour or something is a way we kind of utilize what we're already building to do some of this stuff and just have that be available in packs very at a very rare rate. So yes, I would love to do that. It's not like currently one of the items on the roadmap right now, but sometimes we are able to get stuff like that in. Maybe for the next set. So we'll just kind of have to see how things shake out over the next 6 months or so. Question from Birds, Bees, and Trees: would you consider a wild league without fees? Have bots been totally eliminated from Modern? I miss using my level 4 kitty, but don't know why we have to pay to play now. Asking for a friend. Yeah, I mean, the reason for the fees in Wild League was, because there's rewards there, and we can't have a system where cards just can go on and earn rewards forever and ever and ever without any additional investment into the game, and that type of thing is taken advantage of by bots. So the wild pass, solves that problem, and then it allows us to do more things. It allows us to give out more rewards, and not have to worry about them always being exploited, as we've seen many times in the past. So it's possible that there could be something that's like hardcore mode, which may allow you to use level 4 kitty um, in a way. So like again, when we're ready to kind of release more details about that, that may help solve your problem there. So I guess the answer is, we'd like to solve that problem in a different way than just removing the fee from Wild League. Scrolling down. I saw SPS has been approving this message. I would like to ask, people not to buy too much SPS in the near term, because uh, I have some funds that should be kind of becoming available soon, and I plan to put them into SPS. So you want to do me a favor and wait a little bit. Much appreciated. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's a mention about if Blaze wants to jump back on. If anyone has questions for Blaze, around his thoughts and ideas for marketing. All right, cool. So he is available. Just throwing that out there. If anyone wants to ask him anything specific, what he's thinking, obviously he's just kind of started recently, and we're putting things together. But if you want to get his thoughts, this would be a great opportunity to do that. Question from Gathering the Magic. Can you give any info yet on the gold foil draws as far as cost per rarity and batch sizes? Yeah, I'm open. I think Royal, if you're listening, or Investy or anyone, if that's been kind of confirmed and ready to share, I have no issue with sharing that.
Yeah, Royal, do you have it in a better format? I've got it in a very messy, spread out one at the moment.
Well, how about, while I continue to talk, if either of you guys want to put something together and pop it in the chat.
Yeah, we'll put it in the chat.
All right, sounds good. There you go. It'll be in the chat shortly. I think we're at a point where we can share that. It's always possible that it could change before the release, as with everything, but I think we've got those numbers pretty ironed out at this point. Question from Roland Eden. The items get by many people in the ultimate treasure chest are too trash. Should the team consider removing potions and increasing the glint cost, or reduce the potion probability and increase the jackpot probability? Yeah, probably. I haven't specifically looked at the numbers from the different types of chests, but obviously the goal is to make all of the chests, seem like not seem like trash, I guess I should say. Have benefits to getting them and make people, interested and excited to get them. That's another area though where glamours can come in, right? We can have glamours that you can receive possibly exclusively from those chests. And again, the glamours are planned to be non-transferable, so they would work very well in the glint shop and in those chests. So that might be a really cool way to improve the value of say the ultimate chests, is give possibly more or higher level glamours, or even exclusive glamours. Maybe you can only get glamours for the legendary reward cards in those chests, for example. So that's one of many ways glamours can help out with the overall economy. Question from Clay. If there's going to be a free-to-play version of the game where people can earn glint, have you considered removing titles and jackpot prizes? Otherwise, it's probably exploitable without further restrictions. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, one of the biggest things about the whole free-to-play idea is going through and making sure it cannot be exploitable in any way, shape, or form. So there's a number of ways we can do it. We can make certain things in the reward shop, not available to free-to-play players. For example, we could make it so that you don't get certain things. Like you can still buy the chest, but you don't have the chance of getting a jackpot prize if you're a free-to-play player. There's a whole bunch of different options and ways we can go there, and that's all part of the process. Like I put together a high-level kind of spec with like all the bullet points, and then a bunch of people on the team went through and added a whole bunch of comments and issues, and then we go back and forth and do all this. But yes, 100% we are going to make sure it is not exploitable in any way, shape, or form. And that's part of the things like Wild Pass and the whole glint system, like all that stuff together gets the game into a place where we can now make a free to play system that works, which which was holding us back, I think, in the past. So it's we've talked about sometimes that a lot of these things are like pieces of a larger whole plan, and to me this is that plan starting to come together. Question: why is from Guil Heo? I apologize if I pronounce some of these names very incorrectly. Why is Chaos Legion rotating out Modern sooner than the 4 years of Modern lifetime? We've had a core set release every 2 years with 1 or 2 months difference, but now we're cutting it short by over 6 months. What should we expect in the future? Will each set stay in Modern for 4 years, 3 years, 2 years? We need to have consistency for our investment. So first of all, I don't think we ever said that cards will stay in Modern for 4 years or any specific amount of time. So if that was assumed, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure we never said anything to that effect. And as far as cutting it, as far as what's happening with Chaos Legion rotating out of Modern, again, this is a proposal to the SPS stakeholder community, right? So this is the whole idea is to have this be a community and stakeholder run project. So if you don't agree with that, I mean, it's specifically said in the proposal, if people don't want that to happen, vote against that proposal. So it's up to you guys, the player community, and that's one of the main values of the SPS token is you get to influence decisions like that. So it is not the only decision the team made was to propose what we have proposed to the community, and then it's ultimately up to the community what happens. And I think also just generally, in my personal opinion, 4 years is long for the lifetime of cards in Modern. I mean, typically our plan has been to release a new major card set roughly once a year, just based on things that have happened over the past number of years that didn't end up happening. But I personally think 4 years is a very long time for that. And again, as I've mentioned many times in this town hall, we are working on what I think is a very cool new project that should hopefully provide value to the older cards, in particular Chaos Legion, that's expected or hoped to be released around the same time as the new set and when Chaos Legion goes out of Modern. So we're not just saying like, see you Chaos Legion, too bad. We're trying to put out the new set, which I think is important and the right way to go, and then come up with alternative solutions for Chaos Legion and other older cards, which will also apply then in the future as future sets rotate out of Modern. Scrolling down. Question. All right, there's a question for Blaze. If you want to, oh, there he is. Hey, Blaze, welcome back.
Hey.
You want me to read it? I don't know if you're following along
I
in
see
the
it.
chat. Okay, great.
I haven't heard of that abbreviation before, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I've already Jimmy. I've already met with. Okay, yeah, I'll go for it. Blaze, are you familiar with KTG MFA? Would you be interested in exploring leveraging the current challenge environment, ghost card challenges, as well as implement future customization of rule sets, Splinterlands selections, etc., to the game to drive content creators to stream gameplay? Yeah. Low-hanging fruit, any new card streamers would use challenges to explore the new card in various situations. What do you think? Yeah, man, this is one of the first things on my list, as I told the internal team, is getting the players happy and excited and fun. The game already has so much, and I think a lot of us focus on what's next, but we already have so much fun stuff in front of us. So working with Matt in the marketing budget and such, I have all kinds of fun ideas with bounties and things like this that will really add a spark into chasing the bounties and having fun with the game itself. And I'm going to be opening up a channel so the community can give me all their ideas, and then I can prioritize with a couple of other people, and we will work on implementing stuff. Anything that we can do right now without taking time away from the devs is what I want to focus on. And then, yeah, that'll just create fun fun vibes and good times. So and special thanks to all the content creators out there. You guys are pumping out great content. I'm really looking forward to things we can do together to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you, Blaze.
So we do have another question from you from our YouTube audience.
Yeah, all right, shoot.
Blockchain Projects asks, Blaze, what is your vision for marketing?
My vision? Well, my vision is long. I want to be here for over a decade. This game's going to stick around. It's being built, and it can just keep getting better and better. Similar vibes to World of Warcraft in a different way, but I think the nostalgia is going to kick in, and we're going to bring those old players back because they're going to see how much fun we're having. But the main vision is to get the community and the team synced, make sure we're running on all cylinders, so then we can expand to the masses. So number one is everybody having fun. And there's just so many ways in Praetoria to do that, whether it be land, whether it be flipping cards on the market, playing the game. There's just so much, guys. And I'm really looking forward to getting with the community and knocking this out of the park.
Yeah, that's perfect. And also specifically as far as challenges, that's something that's been brought up over and over. And I do agree would be really cool is customization of challenges. So, it's one of those things, investigator or any of the developers who are listening, if you're like, yeah, I want to take a break from glamour or whatever it is, and throw some more customization options into challenges, that would definitely be a cool thing to get out there.
Well, while you're there, if I can expand on it, Matt, Jared Scar, I'd like to bring him into the picture somehow. And if we can host tournaments in a way where the host can customize the tournament and kind of set the rules, I think that would be a lot more engaging. So,
all right. So challenges, customization for challenges and tournaments. Yeah. That's sometimes that's the type of thing Cryptomancer gets real excited about and maybe spend some extra time on the side. I don't know.
We'll see when we can get to it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not telling anyone to stop working on other things and work on it. But
we do actually have some backlog tickets about doing things like that. It's just we've got a lot on our plates.
Yeah. All right. Next question in Discord, again from Guil Heo. Suggestion to sell players the opportunity to design cards, just a name and art, can be drawing the card or just give input for the card. Can be different rarities, core sets, reward sets, or even promos. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're planning for Conclave Arcana to do the typical top 6 players on the leaderboard in the pre-sale can design the legendary summoners. A number of people have asked if there can be opportunities to design other cards. So we were maybe considering, adding leaderboard prizes for the current Hall of Legends to be able to design future promo cards. I generally like the concept of players being able to work with our team to design cards, again with some creative rules and restrictions going forward. But yeah, I like that, and I'd like to see about getting some more of that in. Harry, you seem to be smiling. I don't know if you had a thought on that.
I was just thinking we're going to see a lot more cat cards.
Maybe it depends. I mean, yeah, we haven't seen one in a little bit. We've had a pretty good variety of cards, I think, with this last batch of legendary summoners. So, yeah. But hey, I don't know if someone wants to get to the top of the leaderboard on these things, and they want another cat card, then we can have another cat card.
Yeah, we need dog owners to represent. I think the last time we had design with dog was Immortalis. They made sure there was a dog sidekick.
All right, there you go. Or even other more exotic animals. I love the scarred llama mage. It's like every game needs a llama with a cactus friend. All right, what's the next one here? Mega Marcus, for the Conclave Arcana pre-sale, you wrote dollar value will be the basis for the promo cards. So 4K credits could be more than 4K DEC in this context. Um, yeah, that's a good point. I said that just because we have different pack types, so it's not like how many packs you purchase. It's the cost of those packs. But I think I should have said DEC value, and that's a good note that I should update the post to say that. So just like if you buy legendary packs in the pre-sale instead of booster packs, you'd effectively get 6 times the value or points for the leaderboard. So I will update it to say DEC value, not dollar value. So in my mind, DEC is always at peg, and hopefully we'll get there, and then we won't have to make these clarifications. But yeah, for now, good note. Question: can you guys say Conclave Arcana 5 times fast? They said you guys, so it wasn't directed at me specifically.
I think that's a Blaze question.
Oh, I said it already. Sorry.
I like it. All right. That could be a new contest, to win some packs. Whoever says it fast wins. Birds, Bees, and Trees is asking, will you do Christmas cards too? Love the Halloween skins. I don't know about special new Christmas cards, but I don't know, Nate, if you guys will have some Christmas themed or holiday themed skins when we get to that point of the year.
Yeah, we'd like to. If worst case happens, for some reason, the entire art team gets sick the rest of the year, or we get slammed with other projects or whatever, we still have the holiday skins from last year. So
Cool.
hopefully we can expand those so it's not the same ones. But I would like to reintroduce those old ones and then add a few more. I think that'd be fun. So we'll see if we can do that.
Well, hopefully in the not too distant future, we can also just introduce holiday glamours. So it's not just a temporary thing that just happens in the game, but it's something that might be available, exclusive thing in the voucher shop where you can get a holiday themed glamour for a specific card that you could actually purchase with vouchers or merits or whatever. And so it'd be a longer lasting thing than what we currently do now. So again, one of the many features of the glamour system. I don't know how much is left, but I'm thinking it's probably a good time to cut off the questions. All right. Well, still, people have had 40 minutes almost now to put in questions. I'll just remind everyone again. I now have a reminder in my phone to check the town hall chat on a regular basis. So feel free to post any additional questions that come up there whenever they pop into your head. Preface them with question in caps and bold, if possible, so I can see it. Then we'll take the last few questions here and wrap it up and get back to it. I see a lot of discussion. Again, this is, I just have to scroll down until I see question. So if I missed any, let me know. The next one I see is from Quantum Nachos. Any updates now that Conclave Arcana has been announced on changes to land staking production for any and all sets? Personally imagining a subtle shift up for Untamed and lower. We have not we've not done any work or thinking on that yet. So I think with that type of stuff, I prefer to wait until we get closer to the actual release because things change a ton all the time. So anything we come up with now, like who knows how things are going to be in 5 or 6 months. So that's something we're definitely going to look at. I just see no point in doing it right now and then putting something out that ends up being not great as things change in the future. And that's likely something that may be a governance proposal when we get there. So any ideas people have, I know you posted one here and under your question. Yeah, keep sending those. We'll take them into consideration. We'll put up a proposal when it gets closer to Conclave Arcana launch and see what the community wants to do. Question from Bugtis: can we have a fixed schedule / duration for one cycle of core set? This might affect people decision on how to use their glint for soulbound cards, decision to unlock previous soulbound rewards related to how long they can be used in modern. This will also somewhat decide how long or how many soulbound cards can be printed. I'm not sure. Are you asked if you guys understand that more? Let me know. But is it saying like just have a fixed schedule for like how long Conclave Arcana will be out and until the next set?
I don't know if he's asking about the Soulbound reward sets, since the rest of his question focuses on that. Like, how long until we cycle out the Rebellion rewards for Conclave Arcana rewards, if that's going to be a fixed reward cycle timer? That's kind of how I understand his question, but
Yeah. I mean, the thing that's tough is like, again, I was just talking about how things change so rapidly. Like, my preference is to be flexible, and I know that makes things difficult for people, but it also like prevents us from being stuck into something that may end up being not the right way to go down the road. Um, and I feel like that's happened many times to us in the past. We put out and say, this is what's going to be happening, this is what we're doing for like a year out, and then we get there and we're like, oh, actually that's not what we really should be doing, but now we have to do it. So there's like there's two sides to that coin. And I don't know. So, you know, if and also if we're not really asking the question, if we're not answering the question properly, feel free to repost it or DM me. We can talk about it. I would love to be able to say this is exactly what's going to happen, this is exactly when it's going to happen, and everyone plan accordingly. But again, I really don't want to back us into a corner or like force us to have to do something when we get to it and we're like, wow, things changed considerably, and now that is not the best thing to do for the future of the game. So that's where I come down on that. It's a difficult thing about planning for far ahead in the future. Uh,
I did want to read off. So Royal posted the response about the current gold foil costs. So what we're looking at right now for gold foil commons, it would be 3,500 glint per draw with 40 per batch. For rares, it would be 15,000 glint per draw with 20 per batch. For epics, it would be 125,000 glint per draw with 10 per batch, and legendaries would be 600,000 glint per draw with 4 per batch. So those are the numbers that we are currently looking at for anyone listening to this and not reading the chat.
yeah, thanks. I skipped right over that because I'm just laser focused on looking for the word question. Yeah, we spent a lot of time thinking about that and pricing it and looking at data and all these things. My assumption is that some people are going to complain that it's too much because that seems to always happen. But again, these are, you don't have to buy these, and these are the gold foil cards, and they are meant to be very exclusive and a big a social flex. So they're meant for the kind of highest end players who have put in a ton into the game and are earning glints to be able to purchase those. Um, I myself don't earn enough glint certainly to max out the gold foil cards, but I'll definitely, maybe the rares and the modern and the commons. I mean, I might be able to swing. All right, I got a little out of place here. Yeah, well, Vedev tagged me, so I'll read that even though it doesn't say question, but talking about how the customizable challenges multiplies Blaze's ability, Blaze's reach and effectiveness. So yeah, I do agree, and we'll see how things shake out with some of these other projects, and I think that might be one of those that gets on the list, like the priority list, kind of right after the top priority projects I mentioned earlier. I don't expect that would be like a super large project. In which case, yeah, I agree. It would be really good to get it in, especially to go along with our marketing efforts. I am scrolling past a whole lot of dog and cat and panda pictures. Where is it? See the hair.
He also tagged you on it, so
Oh, sorry. It was after Ron closed the Q&A section, so I do not have to respond to it. No, I don't know who that hair belongs to. Am I supposed to?
You are supposed to know who that hair belongs to. Yes. It's a very, very famous hair in our community.
It's a famous hair. I guess I would say I don't really notice people's hair that much.
It's Ned Scott.
Oh, okay. You know, I was thinking that, but then I was like, which is actually surprising to me that I would even think that. But I was like, what? How does Ned Scott have anything like, that's so old news at this point. I figured it was someone more directly related to the Splinterlands community. But yeah, a lot of people definitely, Ned Scott's hair was for some reason a big topic of conversation back in the day. For those of you who are listening who have no idea who Ned Scott is, despite being a very important person in our community, by our community, it's more meant the Steam and Hive community. He was the CEO of Steemit Inc. Back, when Splinterlands started there on the Steam blockchain, and is the one who sold all of the pre-mined stake that Steemit Inc. controlled to Justin Sun, which led to the whole hostile takeover of the Steam blockchain, which led to the creation of the Hive blockchain. So obviously, most of us are not big fans of Ned, but if you think about it, at the end of the day, things worked out extremely well as a result of that, and we were able to get away from Steemit Inc. and that whole pre-mined stake issue, and kind of build out one of the truest like decentralized and community run chains that exist as a result of his greed and incompetence, I would say. So in a way, thank you, Ned, for causing all of that to happen. All right, so I think we're at the end of questions. Once again, if additional questions pop into your head, go ahead and post them in the town hall chat, preface them with question in big letters, and I will make sure to respond to them as quickly as I can before the next town hall, which is in November. Let me see if we have the date for that. Looks like, yeah, Ron will put it in chat, but it looks like it is Thursday, November 21st. It'll be in the evening at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Everyone can go figure out what time that is in their own time zones. So I look forward to talking with everyone then, and I hope we have a bunch more really cool, exciting updates in the next month. So without further ado, thank you everyone for coming on. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your ideas. Welcome again to Blaze. Really looking forward to having you kicking off marketing. Finally, we really excited to get that going and having you on the team. And we'll talk to everyone again in a month.
Thank you.
This is a story, the one where we will not accept defeat. This is a where you and I will not accept defeat. Suffer rebel against the ones who took our peace. This is our story. days aren't saved by the dawn. We bring the light to help guide the way. We are with you. We are the Rift Watchers. When your enemies have spread far and wide, when you're out of places to run and hide, follow the runes. Help is on the way. We stand with you.